Hi, I'm Stacy Piggott, editor of the Cutting Horse Chatter, and I'm here on a very windy day in historic Dublin, Texas. You may know Dublin is the site of the birthplace of Dr. Pepper soft drinks, but did you also know that Dublin was the site of the first cutting sanctioned by the National Cutting Horse Association back in 1946? We're here today to help the American Quarter Horse Association dedicate and unveil a historical marker commemorating that first cutting. One of the featured speakers for the day will be Texas Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst. So let's go down the road and check out the unveiling ceremony.
I'll let you know a little bit about the Historical Marker program. What that really does is it actually commemorates people and events that have had an influence either on the American Quarter Horse or the American Quarter Horse Association. We've actually placed 29 different markers throughout the United States and Canada. The program started about 10 years ago. This will be the 30th marker that we place. Our partnership with NCHA, the National Cutting Horse Association, is very long-standing. From the very beginning, the two organizations have been tied closely together. Quarter horses, American quarter horses, have always been the breed preferred by NCHA contestants, and we're very excited about that. And we are equally excited to honor today the National Cutting Horse Association for their first approved or sanctioned event.
It's a real pleasure to be here today in Dublin, Texas. I mean, it's got the best Dr. Pepper. It's the boyhood home of Ben Hogan, the Dublin Rodeo, and the first NCHA-sanctioned cutting horse event. So we can't imagine a much better combination than that. It's a real treat to be here in Dublin. When you look back at the history of Dublin and Mr. Everett Colbert's Life and Sea Ranch and the rodeo train and the Dublin Rodeo and everything that's happened here through the years, it's very fitting that this was the location of the first NCHA cutting horse event. Back in the early part of 1946, 13 cowboys and cowgirls got together at the Portland Stock Show and Rodeo and decided they needed to formalize the rules of cutting, and they formed the NCHA. And shortly thereafter, in September of 1946, the first event was held here. Zach, I don't think you were judging that day, were you? Mr. Zach Woods. But anyway, there were 21 contestants in the event. They came from Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and South Dakota. And Jimmy Maddox, riding the good horse Snooks, was the winner that day. And I think the very next day was when the judges' protest system was implemented. Anyway, it's neat when you look back at it, though, that you look at that day, it was Mr. Volney Hildreth from Aledo was riding a mare named Housekeeper, and he bought Housekeeper the year before for $1,750, which at that time was reported was the most ever paid for a mare bred to be a cutting horse. And then you look at the sales today, where over $30 million of horses are sold each year there in Fort Worth. We have 2,200 events around the country, pay out over $40 million in prize money, but if it hadn't been for those founding fathers, those pioneers that came together here in Dublin and had that first event, none of this would have happened, and all the economic activity and the great sport that it is today. So we're proud to be here. We appreciate the AQHA for commemorating this, and thank all the folks in Dublin for making it possible. Thank you, Bill.
So, Bill and Jeff, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here today. When I was asked to come today and be part of this dedication and this monument, not be part of the monument, to be part of the dedication to the monument, I was delighted. I'm a big supporter of the American Quarter Horse Association as a proud member and a proud honorary vice president, and I'm a proud lifetime member of the National Cutting Horse Association. Also with us today is Sid Miller, our representative for the area that does a great job in the horseman himself. So thank you very much, Sid, for being here. We appreciate it, and you do a great job. I want to tell you that I was not born 62 years ago, but actually I was just born 62 years ago, August of 1946. So when this event occurred, I just been born 1 month. And it's interesting, here we are, we fast forward, and we're in the middle of the Super States over in Fort Worth. And what I want to change district, not only cutting with the AQHA, but also cutting with the NCHA. The organization went from, you had 21 different riders that day. You had 17,000 members from all 50 states in over a dozen different countries around the world. It's truly an international sport, not only for the AQHA, but for the NCHA. And it's a Texas sport. Born right here. Texas bred, Texas born. And this remains the epicenter for the industry. I mean, when you think about the big daddy of cutting, you're going to think about Will Rogers Stadium, and then you're going to think about Oklahoma City with the AQHA. But it's a great, great, great sport. I'm delighted to play a small part in dedicating this monument for the AQHA in honor of the first NCHA-sanctioned event. So thank you for being here. I'm delighted to be here.